Kale phansi ngiyakhuluma.
There we go again. This is Gabo Tusi. This is Gabo Cheza. A man must. That's the topic that we're going to be dissecting, that we're going to be unpacking, for you to perceive a proper understanding of what it means, what it stands for, and what it represents. A man must. A man must. A man should. And all of that type of stories. So, um, I'm basically going to unpack this for you. What does this thing mean? A man must. It's just a popular narrative of demand that girls, put into place. To say a man must, right? They're just referring to say a man should be resourceful because ever since the dawn of time, ever since the genesis of time, females were incentivized, to derive resources from males, right? So if males don't have a thing, so of which those males are literally pointless. And it is patently absurd to say this because it doesn't resonate well with males. But at some point, somewhere, somehow, if you are a male and you are resourceless, you don't have resources, and then you make it so freaking difficult in a larger degree, far by extension, for females to find you as a potential mate because females are incentivized to date guys who are substantially earning higher than them. Why? So that they can derive resources from those males. That is why most of the time it is very useless for guys to stand firm with audacity and boldness to say, what can I do with a female who's unemployed, a female who's not educated, and so on and so forth? That is basically pointless to say you want a self-sufficient females because majority of self-sufficient females, females who afford to buy themselves cars, females who afford to buy themselves like houses, exotic cars, toys, and so on and so forth, those females, they voluntarily prefer to date guys who are substantially earning higher than them, which makes it so freaking useless to say I want a self-sufficient female because even though a female is individually independent, it becomes pointless because they voluntarily prefer to date guys who are substantially earning higher than them so that they cannot pay bills, so that they can live their lives on easy mode. So if you're resourceless as a nigger, that's very repulsive. You're unattractive. That is why females cannot date their peers because their peers have the very same struggle. So, with that having said, so they used to say, why should you date if you don't have money? Why should you date if you cannot afford a female? Affording a female, it's a male who's supposed to have things that the female should derive. So if you don't have those things, so you're not supposed to have feelings, you don't supposed to have love. All I'm saying is that money doesn't have feelings. It's human beings that have feelings. So we shouldn't tolerate this thing of saying for you to be able to be suitable for dating, you should have money. It is patently absurd and grossly unfair. It is rooted in pompousness, narcissistic approach, and cynical. It's for self-interest. And it is so bewildering and appalling that human beings love one another just simply because of what they have, not because of who they are. But it's something that you cannot change. Things have changed, and we cannot change the fact that things have changed. We're living in a postmodern society where people are being respected according to their achievements, according to their accomplishments. So we cannot run away from that. And I'm also reprehensible for what I'm saying because I understand that there are many different ideas, notions, and analogies pertaining this. But all in all, I know that for sure that females want a person who have resources so that they can live their life on easy mode. That is why there is even these other popular narratives of saying, I bring Ibele on the table. Why are they saying that? Because they know Ibele means nothing on the table. It's simply nothing. Because if you can use the very same arguments against females to say, okay, as a male, I bring Inchebo on the table, they can also hate that because it is valueless to say, I bring Isitupa or I bring my hand in a relationship. It's pointless. It doesn't make any sense. But they use that because they believe that it means something to them. Because this is how you should construe this. Even the, what you might call this, their temperaments, their mindsets, when they say they build Ibele on the table, they simply means they just don't want to bring anything on the table. They want to live their life on easy mode. You should be able to interpret what females are saying. But the very same arguments, if you could just flip the coin and use the very same argument and say, I bring Inchebe on the table, they can also hate it because they know it means nothing. So for them to say they bring Ibele, it simply means, this is how you should construe it. It simply means they bring nothing on the table. But if you could say you bring Inchebe on the table, they can also hate it because they know that's simply nothing. So a man must, yes, a man must, ever since the dawn of time, ever since the genesis of time, a male was supposed to be a provider. So even if things have changed, we evolved from the past, but it doesn't enable a man to also revolve with the past and no longer take their responsibilities of being providers. But anyway, here is another thing. Female can give you a responsibility of a father role. What is a father role? A person who knows what you eat, your transport money, your shelter, your clothes, and all of those things. Those are fatherhood responsibilities. Those are father figure responsibilities. So if you give a male responsibility without authority, of which that male is a slave to you. So females want males who are going to be their slaves. What do I mean by this? They want males to have responsibilities without authority. That is why if you begin to tell them that don't wear this, don't do this, it's unattractive to me, it doesn't represent me as a male, they don't give a fuck about that. They can tell you that you're just being controlling. And if their daddy or their father says don't wear this, maybe they can take that into consideration. But to you, they just want to give you a father figure responsibility without authority, which is called slavery. It is patently absurd and grossly unfair. But anyway, I'm also reprehensible for what I'm saying because I understand the dynamics of different notions, different analogies, different perceptions, and so on and so forth. But we will catch later as time progresses. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely one. Boom!